All right. All right.
Are we
We are
back?
back. We are
All right, we're back.
back. We are.
Welcome back to another edition of Live Feed Reads. I'm
Yes,
Paul Reed, your host, and the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford, appearing live
it's
from
right.
Tallahassee.
I think there's a
Um,
small subset of our audience that actually might get that reference.
what's that?
the Johnny Carson.
Oh, I don't care. That's just what it is. It's
They
funny you
can
say that.
Google
I
it.
was
They can
oh,
Google it.
let's see, what is it? It is September the 13th,
It
about 1
is.
o'clock here in Brandon, 2024. Let's just dive right into it. I got
Yeah, cool.
two calls this week that were interesting. One of them we kind of had talked about before, which is, can you videotape with yourself on the police in action, so to speak?
Mm,
And
okay.
uh,
Yeah.
and we basically the came to the conclusion, i.e., the case law is that yes, you can. That the
Mm,
police really don't have an expectation of privacy when they're out in public, and so the answer is yes. But what happened was I got a call where an individual was threatened with arrest
mm-hmm.
while filming one of these incidents recently, and wanted to, sue the cops for violating their rights and so forth and so on.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I, having already known that, well, you can uh, tape the police officers and other first responders. Evidently, the boys in Tallahassee, meaning the government,
Okay.
enacted a law earlier this year. They call it the Halo Bill, and it
Okay.
says that yes, you have the right pursuant to the freedoms provided under our Constitution and so forth, the right to videotape, record, first responders. But if, when asked to back up, you have to comply, meaning there's a 25 feet buffer zone.
Okay. 25 feet.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're asked to, back up and give me space, you need to be 25 feet away.
Okay.
And if you think about a football field, a first down is 10 yards,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
30 feet. So you
It's
got
not
to
that
be
far.
you got to be a first down away. And I agree, that's not
Yeah.
very far.
It's not that far.
I
You can still
mean,
capture audio. You can still get everything you
right.
need and not be
But
over their shoulder.
I guess
You
this
know.
person wanted to be live up close and personal. Yeah. Get the sweat on your brow.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta
And
get the
so,
Beatles sweat coming
just so
off.
you'll know, be warned
Yeah.
uh, that you can definitely tape police, firefighters, and paramedics, but you need to stay 25 feet away.
Do you think this is something that some of those people are gonna do the pull out the measuring tape and be like, I'm right here, I'm right here, I'm 25, I got it. I have a
Well,
laser pointer that tells me how far I am from you. Like, do you think people
I
are gonna get that?
look, in this world, Jason, would that surprise me? No.
No. I've
But
seen
if
some of the like First Amendment auditors and stuff, YouTube videos, and where they're like, it's almost like they're intentionally. Now, it's not all of them, and I gotta say, like, I think our rights need to be protected, and that the small subtle encroachments that need to be pushed back on by things like that. But some of them are obnoxious, intentionally. You
Of
know.
course. And we might have talked about this a year or two ago.
Oh
There
yeah.
is in Florida, as long as you're going to or returning from, let's see, one of
Oh
our,
yeah, fishing and hunting.
right. So this
Yes,
this guy would literally walk down either St.
the
Peter's
armed
Clearwater
fisherman.
Beach, I
Yes,
believe, with like an assault rifle,
he did. Yes.
with a fishing pole, and
Yeah.
created quite the stir.
Of course. Of course.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
to
the
answer
armed
your
fisherman I think is
question,
a
might there be somebody that does it?
yeah.
Yes, but look, I'm just, for the average Joe, just understand, give them space. They're
Yeah.
just trying to do their job, and whether you agree with what they're doing or not, I don't think you want to be part of the arrest process or whatever's going on.
Yeah. I
All
guess
right.
it's the 25 feet that we never knew we needed, right? Because I
Well,
think
again,
I think it's important.
I didn't know it until the
People
individual
get it.
called and I did a little research. And
Yeah.
just so you know, it's 60 days in jail and a $500 fine.
There you go.
All right,
You better
so
not be with it 20 feet. Yo,
yeah,
don't get that wrong. A game of inches, isn't that what football is?
all right. All right, so that was call number one. Number
All
two,
right.
an individual call who was featured on the TV show Cops.
Wait. You got a call from someone who was on Cops.
Yes.
Was it about what was on the show?
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yes.
Paul.
Brian
Brian says hi.
Oh, hey, Brian. Like my book,
That's
I
crazy.
can't make this up. And there's
Oh
no need
my
to.
word.
So,
We'll
all right. So
zoom
he
in
was
on the
on the
book.
show. He was actually arrested and come to find out he was actually convicted.
Okay.
But he was on the show and people saw him and he's getting calls and he's, embarrassed and so forth.
Okay.
And he
Okay.
wanted to, and he says that he did not consent to be on the show and that he wanted to sue them for, using his
Hmm.
name, image, and likeness, so to speak. We've all heard of that with college football players,
Yep.
or baseball players, or any kind of college athlete. They're
Yep.
now getting paid for their name, image, and likeness for
Hmm.
commercial purposes.
Interesting.
And so,
Hmm.
well, hold on. So I'm like, well, I don't know the answer to that one, but because it really, there's a lot intertwined with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's the halo. Can you film somebody?
Mm-hmm.
First responders and paramedics and the like. Well, the difference between you and me is we're not governmental or employees doing police, firemen, and paramedics and so forth. So is there
Right.
that expectation of privacy? That was the first question.
Yeah. Right.
But that one's kind of easily answered because just so you'll know, people out there in TV land, there is no expectation of privacy in public.
In public. Yeah. Yeah.
Hence, cameras, if they're not
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, they probably will be sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got your red light cameras that are videotaping your car when you're going through and so forth. So,
Well, I had this question, and you gave me that answer probably like a year ago or so. Whenever we were at the park, and this lady was like, "You can't film us," because I was out there with I think I was out there with my camera or something, or no, some
yeah.
kid was out there with a camera running around filming a bunch of other people, and the lady didn't want him to. That's what it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we went through this then, and you were like, "It's a public place. There's no expectation of privacy at a public park. You're in public." And I
Yeah.
was just like, "All right."
Yeah. And
Wow.
yeah. And then that kind of gets in though, of a private citizen, there's a difference between video and audio recordings.
Okay.
And I'll give you an
Okay.
example. If you've had the pleasure of walking through Walmart, then I got news for you. You're on camera.
Mm-hmm.
If you've had the pleasure of calling a lawyer to get a copy of the video when you slipped and fell or otherwise hurt in Walmart, guess what that video doesn't have?
Audio.
Correct.
Interesting.
So can you
Interesting.
videotape someone in public? Yes. But can you videotape them such that you collect or capture the audio?
Hmm.
Well,
I don't know. That's tough.
I don't believe that you can.
Interesting.
But here's
That's
another twist.
yeah, that's interesting because there's
Here's the
none
deal.
of the
Hold on. Here's the deal.
go
Here's the
ahead.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
You say, well, the TV news does it all the time.
Okay,
And I
yeah.
don't consent. Well, guess what? If it's newsworthy, no consent required, and they can use you.
Okay.
So let's see. Jason has a podcast.
So let's go back to cops though, right?
Hold
Like
on, Jason.
okay,
Hold
okay,
on.
okay, 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 okay,
Shut
okay.
the hell up.
Okay,
Jason
okay.
has a podcast, and is it newsworthy such that he can video and audio tape you? I don't know.
Hmm.
All right.
Interesting.
All right, go back. What was your question on cops?
I was gonna say we'll go back to cops because they're not news. They're a
Sure,
commercial
100%.
production for profit. Um, I think your points raised are key. If they're filming the cops and they have the ability to do that, and that's in public, and your arrest is a part of them conducting their duties, I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that as a part of filming them, and it's your arrest that they're filming, that is just it's one, no expectation of privacy in public, and it's collateral, it's included, so they don't need your permission to use that
Well,
footage.
let's talk about that. There's
Yeah,
cops, and then there's live PD. Have you seen that show where it's live
no,
and they bounce around? Well, there's another police
okay,
show. It's called Live PD, and supposedly they're filming that as it happens.
okay,
Okay. Well, on cops, what you'll find is about 90% or more of the people they film, they get written consent for whatever reason. I guess the
oh,
people that are being arrested, don't mind being on TV. They think it's going to make them famous.
they're 15
So
seconds
the
of
answer,
fame.
but remember, cops is using your name, image, and likeness to make money.
That's correct.
So
Yeah, it's not
therefore,
news.
they everything that I looked at points me to say they do need your permission, or that, and if they
Mm,
don't get it, you've seen where they pixelate your face
right. Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. That's true.
you didn't give it. Question on live
Interesting.
PD, it's live, you're in public,
Hmm.
they don't need your permission.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Okay. Hmm.
here was an interesting lawsuit I saw. Of course, live PD, they have a delay. They delay just in case something gruesome comes up.
Oh, okay.
Well, now the question
Yeah.
was, well, because of this delay, did they have an opportunity to get consent from the person that they were filming?
Or an obligation.
Well, no, did they have time?
Interesting.
What was it? I guess it wasn't really live.
Yeah, interesting.
If it wasn't really live, then you're back to the cops and they need your consent.
Production and yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
Now,
Dude.
I
Dude.
hear you. All that having been said, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to you call a lawyer and you're just, average Joe. And you said, I was on cops. They didn't get my permission. I want to sue them.
Okay.
Right? I say, okay. Who are you? Well, I'm Bob Smith, the whatever.
The
Well,
person in the thing, yeah.
what is the value of Bob Smith's name, image, and likeness? Are you Michael
To
Jordan?
him?
No, no. To a jury, who's going to say
Right.
they
Yeah.
used me, and I'm like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
Oh, how much do you think you're worth?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
fine. Here's $10. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Jason, you're asking a jury to award money to someone who was arrested and will come out if they were found guilty. And you're not Tiger Woods or some other famous person.
That's
The individual that called me, I was like, I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting Reed and Reed look at this matter, but I'm sorry it's a decline. It's just not something we're going to be able to help you with.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Because what you're talking about is damages and
yes,
valuation.
correct. Well,
Yeah,
that's
because
every personal injury claim, liability and damages.
yeah,
Might
and that
might he have gotten past liability? Probably, but then what are your damages?
at the end of the day, you can be right and still not be awarded anything, and it won't make that much
Happens
of a
all
difference.
happens all the time, brother.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
the time. All right,
Jeez.
so we've got
Oh,
the
that
halo.
wasn't that was a nitty gritty. That was like a in the weeds nitty gritty subject. It's I find stuff like that interesting though. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, it was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
to say the least. And again, 27 years, however long I've been doing this since 90. Let me look at my diploma. 96. It was the first. It was the first for me.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the beauty of this job, and the beauty of being
Wow.
on TV world is I get to bring you the first. And I've never heard of it. I didn't know about the Halo law, and so now you know.
Yeah, man.
Um, so
Now you know.
Oh, all right. So that finally, first off, Jason, happy birthday.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and so
Hey.
Jason and I were talking about this. Jason has a 4-year-old son, and we'll get into that
Oh
one
yeah.
second. So I was talking. I
Yeah.
said, Jason, boy, before we were all conservatives, or we were all liberals, or we were all independents, or we were
Right.
all old and we're all grouchy and
Yeah.
crotchety and just
Curmudgeony. Yeah.
SOB. Tell TV world what we were like
Yeah.
at 4 years old, and I'm going to turn that over to you, and you make it relatively brief, but do a
I
good job.
will.
I
Okay.
love your son to death. Go ahead.
My little 4-year-old, he made me a present of my own, and it's he packaged it himself. It says "Daddy, I love you" in his own little handwriting. And let me open it real fast this way. I don't know. And the whole thing, he was like, "Dad, did you open it?" So I checked it out, and it's literally a box of packing peanuts. He's so proud of this that he made this for me too. It's like it just reminds me of that time in life whenever the smallest things fascinate you enough that you're like you want to gift them to someone else, and it's like a worm or a rock or packing peanuts. Like
Yeah.
life used to hold such mysteries and such fascination, and now we're too busy picking teams and yelling at each other. So
No, it was good.
enjoy the small
I like
things.
that. Yeah, at 4 years old, the world
Yeah,
is just a great place to be. I
yeah.
can give my dad freaking packing
Packing
peanuts, and I have
peanuts.
a smile ear to ear that this I took the
Yes.
time to do this. I took the time to
Yes.
give my dad an I
Yeah.
love you letter. I'll tell you, we
Yeah.
should all learn a lesson from your son.
That's right.
That it truly is a
Oh, it's
blessing.
the small things. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, again, how old are you?
41. 41.
41. You don't look a day over 50.
Hey. I have
All
a
right.
face for
So
radio.
we got the, yeah, no shit. I say that all the time. All right. So there you go. What you gonna do when the cops come for you? Nothing. I tell you what you're gonna do. First things out of your mouth, I want to talk to a lawyer. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the halo effect, if you
Dude,
find yourself in a situation where you want to sit and film somebody doing something, just make
yeah.
sure you're a sufficient distance away so you don't
Yeah.
become part of the process.
Yes.
All right, let's see. 118. The
Yeah.
Buccaneers played Detroit. Uh, we are underdogs, so go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
If you're a baseball fan, there's less than a month left in the season. So if you want to catch a game, you might want to get
Better
out
do
there and
it.
do it sooner rather than later. If you're not from Florida and you're watching this, it's still hot. It's still humid.
And
We have
wet.
no fall. We have no fall.
Yeah.
Uh, our seasons right now, we're in hurricane season. That's our season.
We're in wet hot.
No, we're in hurricane season. you know, and that's
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah.
That's the season we're in. You guys up
Yeah.
north, beautiful. As I watch these games, I see that you're in sweatshirts and coats.
Yeah.
See the leaves are orange and yellow and green and purple and blue. Ours are green, greener
Green
and greenest,
and wet and
and
hot.
hot, hotter and hottest. And there's hurricane, hurricane, hurricane.
And the iguanas still aren't frozen. They're still moving around.
They're not
That's
frozen. All right.
when it
Well,
gets cold when they fall from trees.
hold on a second.
Oh, oh.
Oh, Millie.
Millie. Hey, Millie.
Hello.
She's adorable.
She's waiting for the weekend. She loves these shows because she knows she gets a couple of days off. All
Nice.
right, Jason.
All right, man. I'll take
Us
this
out
out.
of here.
Yeah.
God willing, everybody, we'll be back next Friday. Pop into church, say hello to Jesus, and give him a big thank you.
That's right. That's right.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.